Curiously, she and her teacher entered the home, the low sun casting the only light in through the windows. Were they in the right place? It was the only sign of life down the path so far, not counting Dodge Junction itself. They walked unsteadily through the living room, going over the details of the place. There wasn't any dust anywhere, not on the furniture, not on the chairs. On one of the end tables, there was a folded-up newspaper. Celestia lifted it up and looked at the date on the top. It was from the day before. It seemed like the stallion at the stand was telling the truth. Their suspicions were proven correct when Twilight noticed the mantel over the fireplace. It had some typical decorations, a couple candles, a small potted plant, a few scattered books. But what caught her eye was the picture frame near the center. On it was 4 dull-colored ponies, 2 young and gray with 2 older ponies, 1 gray and 1 light tan color, standing behind them. Most noticeable, however, was on the right side of the picture. A small pink ball of fluff stood beside the young pair in the photo, with a subtle look of melancholy on her face. A tiny pout on her lips and a sad angle of her brow were enough details for Twilight to see that, when the picture was taken, she was unhappy. The others in the shot had neutral expressions, not looking terribly concerned about being photographed at the time or of anything else, one could argue. Pinky. Celestia set the paper down and magically reached for the photograph. Pulling it in for a close look, she asked, "That's her as a filly, I assume?" "It has to be. The only thing that looks different is her mane, but I've seen like that before. She was furious with us when we threw her a surprise birthday party a couple years ago, because she thought we were ignoring her. Her mane had flattened against her head, and she looked the same as when she attacked me in my dream." The princess replaced the frame, and the two quickly looked over the room. To the left of the fireplace was a door. To the right was a hallway that led to a table, in which they reasoned was the dining room. Before the archway, to its left, was another door. "I'll check this room." Celestia pointed to the left doorway. "You check the other. If we find anything that could have been precious to Pinky, provided they still have their things." Nodding, Twilight trotted to the right, and cautiously entered the hallway behind the door. Almost as soon as Celestia stepped into the room in front of her, she let out a loud gasp. Twilight heard her teacher and feared the worst. She raced the short distance across the room and barreled into the pie's master room, almost knocking the princess over. Twilight was going to protect her mentor, regardless of the danger. Twilight's breath suddenly escaped her upon seeing the carnage laying on the bed. Her eyes shrank and she began to shake in panic. In an instant, she dove back out of the room, covering her mouth and failing to stop herself from sobbing in terror. Her pounding heart threatened to break her chest. The princess slowly backed away from the grisly scene and quietly shut the door. Somehow, she managed to appear even whiter than she normally was. She wrapped a foreleg around her horrified student and pulled her close. "Twilight?" She paused, wiping away her tears with a conjured tissue. "Go search the rest of the house. We still need to find something of Pinky's. Just pray there's something here. If we can't, I may not be sure what to do." Celestia glanced at a door to the bedroom inside. "I'll give the pies a proper burial outside while you look around. It's the least I can do for them." The princess solemnly entered through the front door, a heavy weight on her heart. She had just finished giving some silent words of comfort to the deceased and arranged some of the rocks into a pair of makeshift memorials. She hoped that what she did was acceptable to them in some way. While Celestia had attended many, many funerals over her long life, including those of her own parents, she never personally buried any pony before. Actually laying them to rest herself made her think about the lives of some of the closest companions she had to say goodbye to, and what it must have been like to their families and friends. It made her think about her own life as well. Immortality did not make one invincible. Alicorns like her didn't need food or sleep or even air, but they could still be injured or killed. Just like her mother and father. Just like she almost was when Chrysalis revealed herself at the royal wedding some time ago. As she magically closed the door behind her, she headed towards the hallway that Twilight ventured down. The first door on the left revealed a pair of small beds, likely for children, with very little else in the room. There was some normal furniture one would find in a bedroom, like a set of shelves and a dress, but no toy chests. No board games, no dolls. It was as barren and dull as the farm itself was. The next door led to a bathroom. She moved up and on to the next and last door on the left, finding Twilight laying on the floor in the center of her room, with a book in front of her. Unicorn looked away from the pages upon hearing the clip-clop of hooves on the hardwood floor. "Pinky's diary," she stated. "There wasn't anything else in the other room, and I reasoned that it must have belonged to the other two fillies from the picture. Maybe they were twins or something. As far as I can figure, her parents left everything as it was when they left home. There's just so much dust on, well, everything. It doesn't look like things have been touched in a long time. But this book is hers. And this diary I found, it's just so depressing. Did she mention anything important to her that we might be able to use, provided we can find it?" "I think I saw something that sounded interesting. Let me find it." With several flips of pages backwards, Twilight came across the entry and began reading. Here we are. "I made a new friend today. Actually, it's my first one. I really don't count my sisters because we don't really say much between us. Nothing bad, but nothing good either. I doubt I could ever go to them and talk about how sad this place makes me. We found a rock outside while working earlier today. It was so perfectly smooth. I found it kind of..." She skipped over 3 attempts Pinky made to spell fascinating and crossed out each try. "Cool. I took it inside at the end of the day and drew a happy little smiley face on it. At least one pony should be happy in this place. I call him Rocky. It's the only thing I can think of. Can't imagine why." Twilight turned a couple pages ahead and continued. "There's something else here, too. Rocky's such a good listener. I can tell him jokes and share with him my wishes and hopes and dreams, and not worry about being looked like I'm stupid or worthless. I've tried talking to my parents about what I want to do with my life, and about what kind of cutie mark I might get, but they ignore me more than anything. I wonder if they even love me at all. They probably just want me to stay on this stupid rock farm forever." It seems that this rock was especially important to her. And that just might work. Celestia thought out loud, rubbing a hoof to her chin. Does it say where it may be anywhere in her diary? "I haven't found anything yet. She just mentions a lot about how much she doesn't like it here. I came across an entry just before you came here that mentioned her getting her cutie mark. After that, the entries started to sound more like the Pinkie Pie I knew. Upbeat, full of joy, happy," Twilight explained. But not long after, it seemed to get bleak again. She was still happy, but I guess the novelty of a new cutie mark ran out quickly for her family. Looks like she was the first of her sisters to get one, too. Celestia slowly went over the mostly empty room while Twilight jumped to several blank pages in the second half of the journal. Pinky must have stopped writing, either out of disinterest or moving away. She bounced back and forth between entries and empty pages until she found a last piece of writing. She skimmed through quickly, looking for anything that may have mentioned Rocky. Suddenly, she raised an eyebrow. "I think I have something," Twilight said. She cleared her throat. She read from the journal again. "I think this is going to be the last time I write in this. For the last several days, I've been going through some books about other cities around Equestria. Total Snoresville. You'd think they'd add some excitement when talking about other places to make them sound, well, exciting. I suppose I just need to get out of here. Even with Rocky around to keep me company, I know I'll never be happy here. And now that I have my cutie mark, I just have to spend the kind of joy that I felt that day I saw that amazing rainbow, and the next day that I got my cutie mark to others. I read about this place called Ponyville. It's a short distance from Counterlot, the royal city where the princess lives. It's just so cool. It looks like a nice, quiet little town that has plenty going on all the time. Festivals, games, fun, the kind of things I want to do.
And if I want to see a big city, I can just take a train ride and bam! Canterlot! I wonder how nice the ponies there are. To be honest, I'm not sure if I want to visit here again. Everything around here, except for Rocky, did nothing but make me so sad. And I don't want to be sad anymore. I just know that meeting all those ponies in Ponyville Place will be the bestest thing I could ever imagine. But just in case things don't work out and I have to come back here, I want what will hopefully used to be my only friend in the whole world waiting for me with the rest of my friends. Yes, I went outside and gave Rocky his own friends and family. Aren't I weird? I like it. It's fun. I put them in a small box in the corner of my closet, just in case I don't remember. If I really don't remember, hopefully it'll be because I'm making so many new friends that I won't have time to remember. This diary got me through a lot of bad days, and I had it a lot longer than Rocky, so I know I won't forget where I put this. I suppose I should ask my parents not to move this book too. Hopefully they'll actually respect my wishes for once. I'm going to miss you lots, Rocky, but I hope you're happy for me. Wish me luck. Pinkie Pie.
Twilight rose quickly and whipped open the closet, her eyes darting from corner to corner. She spotted a small box in the third one, just like Pinkie wrote. It glowed a light shade of purple and floated towards the center of the bedroom. Setting it down, Twilight pulled open the box and found several plain but jagged rocks randomly tossed in. One by one, they lifted themselves into the air and were placed on the floor. Finally, when the box was almost empty, Twilight saw it. She reached in with her hoof and pulled out the only smooth stone she saw. It had a pair of big, blue eyes and a wide, blue smile. The color was faded quite a bit, but it appeared to have been drawn in chalk that likely hadn't been reapplied since the last time Pinkie played with it. Twilight stared at Rocky with the renewed sense of comfort. She had what they came for. A second later, a scroll fluttered out into the room in a puff of smoke and landed in front of Celestia. With a curious eyebrow raised, she raised it to her face and unrolled it. Her features hardened as she sped through the letter. "We have a situation." "What's wrong?" "We need to return to Ponyville." To be continued.